what it really means. What does it really mean to take care of your mental health? I mean, these are popular words, buzzwords, but we're about to take a walk soon. So get your shoes together because I got some stuff to share with you today. I was recently chatting with someone, friend of mine, holding on to this grudge for a long time. And I said, with as much compassion as I could, you got to work on that mental health. You really do. Hey, he bit back at me a little bit. What do you mean mental? I don't have a mental health problem. I don't have a mental issue. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. All roads lead back to your mental health. The inability or the ability to let go. Can you let go? That's a function of your mental health. When you've been triggered and it's easier to kind of hold on to that issue, like the dog with a bone, you're just holding it and chewing it. Can you drop that and let that go? Can you love? Can you love in a variety of different ways? Up close? Can you switch up and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and love you from a distance? Can you make those kinds of adjustments? When you're wrong, can you step back and say, oh, it's something hit me in my stomach, but I need to go ahead and take responsibility for this. I need to go ahead and make a correction. Can you do that? Are you able to walk yourself through uncomfortable emotions, through high emotions, through challenges that you're going to go through? Are you able to set yourself aside, sit down with yourself and say, you know what? I'm going to hold your hand through this. This is what we're going to do. Step A, B, and C. Because if you're really seated inside of taking care of yourself mentally, all of those things, and make no mistake, it's a work in progress, but all of those things you can do. And the greater investment you make in taking care of your mental health and really diving into what that really means, the better and better you'll get in all of these domains. So my friends, put on your shoes. Let's go take this walk with me. Hi everybody, welcome back to The Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. I'm out here in a new location. Happy to be here. As always, we've got it all here on this channel. Mental health, movement, motivation. Can you see these beautiful birds here? I don't know. I started recording and they just came up to say hello. Hello, all of you. And the gorgeous water here. I'm encouraging you, go ahead, as we always do. Please make your wish. Oh, wow. Hi, guys. Some more. Okay. These are loyal fans. Hi, guys. Very loyal fans. I don't have any food for you, but it's great to see you. I'd like to encourage you, go ahead and start the way we always do. Make your wish. Make your wish, everyone. Wishes, hopes, and dreams, they come true every single day. And it's imperative to stay connected to those wishes, hopes, and dreams. All right. I've made my wish. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take a different path today. If you don't have your shoes on, get your shoes. Today I'm sporting my boots. If you don't have your shoes, get your shoes on. Have a very powerful message to share with you here in the new year. I can't believe 2023 already here, ready to rock and roll. You guys, my message today has been inspired once again. You know that I'm following this case very closely in Idaho. These beautiful children, to me they're children, they're young adults in their 20s, Their lives were taken, quite frankly, needlessly. And the last time I chimed in with all of you, there was not a suspect. The suspect had not been arrested. That is not the case. There is someone in custody, a man by the name of Bryan Kohberger. Bryan Kohberger. I want to start there because, quite frankly, this case is the inspiration for the message today. And my question for all of you, here it is, right between the eye. Do you have, now this is for real, do you have a plan to support your mental health? Let me stop with that. Do you have a plan to support your mental health? I'm not talking about, just occasionally, I may go to the spa, or occasionally I may take a day off if I'm really tired or hit a wall. I'm talking about a daily, a consistent plan to support your mental health. Because if you don't, this is the time. Not next week, not next month. This is the time to stop and start building out your life plan, your mental health, your resilience plan. Today more than ever, that matters. It makes the biggest difference. And I know some of you may be thinking, well, Sheila, if you're going to talk about mental health and resilience planning in the backdrop of Bryan Kohberger and what happened in Idaho, don't you think that that's just a little bit extreme? Actually, I don't. I really don't. I think it's very appropriate because a lot of people are discussing this from various angles, but very few are really going into the innards of what really this boils down to. Hi guys, excuse me, I know I'm in your territory, just walking on past. Always good to see you. So, no, do I think it's extreme? No, I do not. Because all roads, understand me, all roads lead back to mental health. There's no question about it. We just don't discuss it or talk about it enough. You can trace this back, and when I tell you that I have been, oh, I guess they see something. When I tell you that I've been following this case very closely, I mean, I'm talking about reading court documents, looking back at his history from high school as a youngster. There were a lot of issues early on that I suspect, had this young man had a plan to deal with what he became, had he had a plan to deal with what he became over the years as a result of loneliness, being isolated. He has been described by a lot of people as socially awkward. Even if those things weren't present, we all of us need a mental health and resilience plan, but particularly those of us who are battling those kind of social issues. And I'm convinced, now hear the word I'm saying, plan, a plan. He didn't have one. So guess what? The plan was laid out for him. The plan was laid out for him. It's very clear that if you listen multiple times before these murders even took place, he was 12 times they've connected him through cell towers and data. He was stalking them. If he had time to sit and do that and plan this evil and this maliciousness, then he had time over the years. He had time to put something in place for himself to deal with his mental health and his life circumstances. So what I want to connect everyone to today is there is always something you can do. There's always something you can do to support yourself. I'm not one, I don't get in for these pity parties. I'm not for it, you guys. I'm just not. You know what? Cry me a river. Cry me a river. If you've watched the channel, I've laid out some of the challenges I've gone through. There's people walking on the planet going through much worse. There's always going to be some challenge we have. If it's not social anxiety, being awkward, some of us didn't get great parents. Some of us get no parents at all. Some of us came from conditions that we were broke. Some of us are dealing with physical challenges that limit our mobility. Some of us are dealing with chronic illness. Some of us didn't have people to teach us the ropes and the ins and outs of life. So we had to learn it the hard way. So, I'm not one for the pity party. I'm really not. I'm sorry, whatever you've gone through. You've heard me say the word "poly" many times. And what "poly" means is there's no sorry in it. This is an African word. Direct translation is, I acknowledge that you have gone through this, and I honor your courage, conviction, and strength of character to rise to the occasion of the challenge. So I don't have a sorry for anyone. What I'm saying to you is poly. And the way to approach it is to take full ownership of what the challenges are, what the problems are, and get to the problem solving. Period. Because let me tell you, if you don't put a healthy, proactive plan in, the plan is going to be laid out for you. It's 100% going to be laid out for you, just like it was for Brian Koberger. Period. And the plan did not, trust me, it did not involve righteousness, and it did not involve the angels, guys. All right? As they say, you've heard the phrase, an idle mind is the devil's playground. Take responsibility for the issues and don't put it off on anyone else. I'm pretty sure, I'm speculating, but I tell you what, I'm pretty good at this work. This is year number 28. I suspect when it's all said and done, come on back and watch the video when we get further down the road, that at the end of the day, this man was so isolated and so filled with hate that his justification for doing what he did, he was jealous of those young people, their lives, their vitality. And so he turned all of his rage. First it was turned inward, and then it was turned outward. It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening, because he did not make the plan. He did not make the plan for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, we all need it. Now, this channel is about solutions. And I'm just, it's interesting to me, these conversations around mental health. There's a lot of talk, but really what is missing is the how-to. So this channel, as well as my life, has been dedicated to showing people how do you implement these tools? What do you implement? What is the meaning and what is the definition of a positive and powerful resilience plan and mental health maintenance plan? So I want to talk about that today. I will make a part 2 a companion to this video so you can review it and put those two together. But today I want to start with 3 things to keep in mind. Any life resilience mental health maintenance plan, there's going to be 3 core anchors. Number one, 3 components. You must have anchors. What are anchors? An anchor, just like what an anchor does for a boat. It stabilizes you mentally, and it holds your grounding in place. So for me, I have 3 core anchors. Your anchors that you list. Matter of fact, I really suggest you would get out a pen and a piece of paper and you can take the walk with me, but you can take some notes as well. So my core anchors are prayer, gratitude, and my passion projects. And let me go over each one just a little bit. Again, your anchors do not have to be my anchors. And by the way, you can have more than 3 anchors. Some people may have 5 or 6 anchors. But I'll start with a prayer. What prayer has done for me all of my life, it's been a rejuvenator, it's a refresher, it's a healer, it's a grounder on contact. Right before I started this walk, I was sitting in my car, do a lot of work in my car, and just in prayer, going over the rosary, talking to God. That conversation is ongoing, but allowing myself to have that rejuvenation, taking some time to listen to what is being said to me. So the prayer is extremely grounding. Gratitude, you've heard me say this before, in the great words of Oprah Winfrey, gratitude makes what you have more than enough. Complaints, not that I don't complain, but it's few and far between, because what I'm crystal clear on, it can always be worse, baby. And I tell myself that. So Sheila, get on the good stick. It can always be worse. You're living a privileged life. Zip it up, And it's wonderful also to get into the practice of keeping a gratitude journal. And these tools that I share with you, once they become a part of your life, once they become a way of life, a part of you, you will naturally become very uncomfortable when you are not accessing these tools every day. So don't feel discouraged. Well, Sheila, I tried and I fall off. There's days, that the consistency may not be there, but you have to say, what? I'm building this. And then you reach a point where it just doesn't feel right when you aren't utilizing your tools every day. The third element for me under anchors is my passion projects. This is one of them. Love creating these videos for you guys. It's a labor of love. This is not, there's not a payout for me on this. It purely is the dedication of getting these messages out to humanity. I love to write. There's always wonderful projects to hold my interest, something to look forward to, something quite frankly that supports my mental health, because I can get wonderfully, deliciously lost in it and elevate at the same time. So, passion projects can be whatever you love, whatever you feel most strongly about. I'm encouraging you to always have a connection to your passion projects. Secondly, second component of a core mental health and resilience program, personal program for yourself, is connection. So let me say this about connection. Connection is really the glue of life. We were not placed here to live, work, and love in isolation. And you can see that those of us who try to do that, it's not that you can't make it in the world that way. You can, but you're going to be extremely, it's hard. It's debilitating. So let me not just throw out this word connection and not give you some support and guidance on how to maintain, sustain, spark, and cultivate connection. One of the things that I started many years ago, I went through a period. I had moved to a new state. Many of my friends were married off. I didn't know a lot of people in this new place. At the same time, I really didn't, for my own reasons, I didn't want people to know that I was really struggling with these feelings of loneliness and isolation. So an idea came to me, and I started reaching out to my friends, and I said, you know what? I'm going to be in your area in May or June. Would you like to hang out for a day or so? And inevitably, because I was doing this with such advance notice, and these were friends, yeah, that'd be great. I'll clear my schedule now. Thanks for giving me the notice. So I got maybe 3 or 4 people on the calendar that way. And I looked at that calendar and I said, woo, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to this. So that really gave me a boost. I continued on with that practice, but I started to add to the calendar, different things to look forward to. Okay, I'm going to take myself to the museum. Okay, I met a new friend, a new colleague at work. We're going to grab something to eat. And so I just started to build out and explore this idea of cultivating connection, as well as the combination of hope. So what do I mean by that? At all times to this day, and I've been working my Care and Connection calendar for years, I never have any less than six things that I'm looking forward to. And I like to build out that calendar 6 to 7 months out. Sometimes I have 30 or 40 little things plugged into that calendar. But it's very powerful because I look at that and I just get a lift. And there's science behind this too. Just by having that calendar, keep it somewhere where you can see it consistently, because it's a 30% reduction in stress. Just when you look at it and know that you have something coming up to look forward to. Can you imagine that? You get 10 or 15 things on that calendar and it's like, woo, can't wait to see my buddy. That's coming up. Got a little trip coming up. Even my little bike rides with my gizmo, I put him in the basket. We go on the trail. He looks forward to it. I look forward to it. So there's always a combination of hope and connection that I keep in front of me. Now, I don't want to shortchange you, because I can hear a lot of people saying, Sheila, I'm happy you have Gizmo. I'm happy you have people to plug into your Care and Connection calendar. I don't have that. What do you do if you're light on connections and you don't have it? Or what do you do if you've been jaded by relationships and you're just kind of a little gun shy, if you will, about even trying to form those connections? Let me be clear. I've been in all of those places. So I want to say a little bit about each of those. What you have to understand, and just through a lot of lessons, some heartache, some heartbreak, what I've come to truly realize about connection with people
And by the way, connecting with people is just one form of connection. The spiritual connection, connecting with your environment. Connection runs in layers, but specifically, what you have to understand when you're connecting with people, one essential rule is, darling, it ebbs and flows. It really ebbs and flows. And there's going to be relationships and friendships that make your heart sing, and you feel so close and you feel so great and so good. There's going to be times where people pull away from you. You don't know why. You don't know what's going on. And they don't give you the courtesy of explaining it. There's going to be things that just go belly up. And then there's these rich, lifelong relationships. One of the things that I thank God, because I could have become bitter, but I didn't let the upsets and the heartbreaks stop me from keeping my heart open to meeting wonderful, delightful people along the way. And some of those friends, by the way, I've met later in life. Even meeting my partner, Andreas, I had gone through so many ups and downs with romantic relationships. I could have easily just said, you know what, I'm done with it. But one thing that I do know, because all of you are watching this channel and you're beautiful and wonderful people, there are so many amazing people to meet. If you get yourself shut down and disgusted, it's just a guarantee you're not going to bump into any of those folks. So as far as cultivating the new relationships, just understand, when you meet someone who's interesting, I'm going to be doing a lot more on relationship pieces and cultivating. Timing and how you pace that out has a lot to do with it. Giving people adequate amount of space. Get to know them a little bit. Hey, let's grab a cup of coffee, whatever the case may be. You have some people who are just so skittish. They're never going to open themselves up to a relationship, or people who've already formed their friendship groups. Sometimes they can be closed off and very cliquey. That's another thing. But I would just say to you, getting yourself into the social mix, don't put too many heavy expectations out there, and just let it flow and enjoy the connection as you have it, without such a heavy emphasis on building the relationship. Because first, a positive rapport and connection has to come. And then if it's God ordained, if it's in God's will, you will get that friendship, or you will get that relationship. But my advice is, keep your mind open, keep your heart open, keep it light, and just enjoy. And understand that in the game of life, and when you're dealing with people, excuse me everyone, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. I just recommend, if you're in a situation in life, someone's pulling back, could be a friendship, whatever the case may be, I don't recommend chasing anyone. What I've learned, bless them, let them go. Hey, how's it going? If they're not willing to explain it, talk about it, whatever. I've seen it where people backed off, came back in a year or two. Hey, what happened? Oh, I was going through a rough time. People share with you what they want you to know. This work has truly informed me very well. And I wish there was a way I could shout it from the mountaintop. You never know what people are going through. Don't personalize it. Move on. Enjoy the other connections you have in your life. If you're low on the connection factor, put yourself in social situations where some of those connections can potentially spark. You have to start somewhere. And understand, a person does not have to be your best friend for you to enjoy some connection and some laughs and a Zoom call or a visit. Connection is the spice of life. It is the oil. Connection is to our lives what blood is to the body. We thrive on that. We need that. And I just encourage you to please rethink connection as part of a core mental health plan. And then the third component of a very healthy resilience and mental health plan for your life is cultivating the ability to process emotions daily. Well, Sheila, that sounds like it's heavy duty. It's not. I have a practice I call taking out the trash, and that's something that happens daily. It could be in the morning or in the evening, but any emotion that you need to process, it may be a negative emotion, something that's just bothering you a little bit. The practice I do, I've explained it to all of you. I just take my candle, my electric candle, and just verbally, using spoken word, I get everything out. If it has to do with some toxic emotions with a person, I get that out, just like they're in the room. And I just fully express the emotion, let it out, process it. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of journaling. And on the flip side of that, I also give myself an opportunity. Once I've taken out the trash, I like to sit and I like to highlight and really embrace and absorb the wonderful things, the joyous things, the beautiful things that are happening in my life. Expressing that gratitude. If I did something I'm particularly proud of, I like to give myself the full vibration of that energy, because all too often we go through life, you're doing this great stuff, we have our challenges, but we're also doing wonderful things. Give yourself the full vibration of joy for that too. So that's also, when I say process emotions, it does not always restricted to processing negative emotions. We want to process those positive emotions as well, because that gives us a lot of traction in life too. So those are some core components for really building a mental health and life resilience plan. And because this channel is really focused on the clinical, the practical, and the spiritual, I would be remiss if I didn't come back full circle and really remind everyone that you have access. You have access, just by virtue of being here, to one of the greatest tools to sustain, maintain, and cultivate that positive mental health. And that is a connected core relationship with the Lord. And I cannot tell you, I cannot tell you how much grounding and how much peace and light and love that relationship, taking time to pray, taking time to listen meditatively to the guidance that is available to me, taking time to lay the troubles and worries on what I call the altar of growth and development, which is really the Lord's altar. Learning how to give all of that stuff away has been transformational for my life. And how do you start that work? Just with a simple prayer, sitting more, being quiet. God, I'm opening up my heart to you. I'd love to know you more, instruction, more guidance. I'm here. I'm open and receptive. Show me the way. And then a lot of little nuggets and jewels will start dropping in for you as you open up yourself more. Certainly you have to do your part, but I feel like every step I take toward the Lord, I'm going to say 15 to 20 steps are taken in my direction. So you guys, again, this whole thing, tragic, what is happening in Idaho. I put out a video, a prayer, that this man would be found. Again, the power of God, that prayer was answered. But there is a lot, as tragic as this is, and I pray that these young souls, they're wrapped in the angel's wings and arms, in God's loving hands in heaven. Yet we have so much that we can learn from this, so it does not happen again. For my part, I'm going to keep pushing forward with these power messages around mental health and resilience and spiritual grounding. Thank you for helping me out by spreading the word. If you're loving what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe and share the news of the channel with your friends and family. Thank you. Bye-bye.